In the mid-season trailer for Welcome to Plathville, Olivia is in the driver's seat following her breakup with Ethan. Ethan acknowledges that he has learnt more in the past year of this failing marriage than he did in the 7 years before. The drama on Welcome to Plathville is abundant. As each member of the family embarks on a new chapter in their lives, they are all navigating uncharted territory as the Plaths try to move on from their shattered relationships in this exclusive look at the second half of Season 6. After splitting from her estranged husband Ethan in October 2023, Olivia Plath declares, "I feel like I'm in the driver's seat of my own life at last." Before cameras capture him working out in the gym and showcasing his rapping abilities, Ethan Plath states, "I have learned more in the last year of this failed marriage than I did in the 7 years prior." Following Barry's statement that things are getting strange in Plathville these days, Mariah discloses that she finally booked a date for their family band's concert, although it is much sooner than they had anticipated. Fans are taken to a family dinner in the following scene, where a surprise guest is present at the table and everyone is seated together for the first time since Barry and Kim's divorce. Regarding her partner, the family matriarch remarks, "We're all here together, including Ken Palmer," before joking, "I just want to see who punches who first." Although fans will have to wait for her response, Ethan enjoys a line dancing date with an unidentified blonde that ends with him requesting her phone number. Olivia mentions in Sedona that she is traveling with a special guest, but the camera cuts before the unidentified face appears. Ethan, who acknowledges, "I don't know what the mending process of my relationship with my mom looks like," is still at odds with his mother, Kim, and is adjusting to a new normal with Olivia. Chaos breaks out as the family concert arrives, and Kim, in a frenzy, tries to control the children while her daughter Mariah copes with the fallout from her ex-boyfriend's appearance. Kim explains, "We have a concert tonight. We haven't practiced together in 6 years. I don't know where everyone is." She goes on to say, "This could be a huge disaster." During a group confessional, Micah looks for Mariah, who appears to have vanished, while Ethan taunts Dad Barry by asking if he has any bail money. Before Micah is shown on camera saying, "It's literally a chaotic hot mess," Ethan later admits, "I was seeing red." Kim takes Barry, who remarks that everything is just like old times, to her boyfriend's seat at the conclusion of the trailer, but he leaves the two of them alone. "This is it," Barry realizes, "and then she's gone and I'm standing there with Ken." But view Ethan Plath's reunion with his siblings in Welcome to Plathville. In the midst of constant conflict on their TLC series, Welcome to Plathville, Ethan Plath recently got back together with a number of his siblings at a family get-together. The 24-year-old reality star wrote, "Went down to Georgia, saw my dad and siblings. So good to see them," as the caption for a set of photos on Instagram that showed him posing with his siblings Micah, Lydia, Isaac, Kasha, and Mercy. The girls are older now and they also picked up a few cars. Fun times. And to clarify, the gentleman in the photo is not our dad, that's my good friend Philip Palmer. He's a machinist and we've built a couple of engines together, the reality star added, referring to the older man in his pictures. The TLC series, which debuted in November 2019, has followed the family, which also includes daughters Hosanna, Mariah, and Amber, over the years, focusing on how the children adapt to modern things they were not allowed to experience as children, such as the internet, pop culture, and even soda. Plath, who has been married to his wife Olivia Plath since October 2018, is the eldest child of parents Barry and Kim Plath. In June 2022, Us Weekly revealed that Barry and Kim had separated after 24 years of marriage, one of the many issues they had faced like any other reality TV family. "We have been through many highs and lows in our 24 years of marriage, and as we navigate this new chapter in our lives, we will co-parent our amazing children." In a joint statement at the time, the ex-couple told us, "After much thought and discussion, we have decided to end our marriage. While this was not an easy decision, we know it's the best choice for both of us." Some of the family's conflict has also revolved around Ethan and Olivia. In 2018, as tensions between the couple and Ethan's parents continued to escalate, Olivia and Kim got into a fight during the couple's wedding celebration. It was at her place. She had what she wanted to do. She's just, really excited, and I feel like that happens a good amount of times, but she probably went a little overboard, and Olivia definitely felt that way. I think a lot of it was my mom trying to make it her wedding almost, Micah exclusively told us in August 2021. I mean, I don't know exactly, but this is kind of what I've gotten from it, just a whole bunch of things like that led up to a lot of frustrated and bad communication. Just people not saying what they're going to do, doing things differently, doing things other people didn't want to. The model went on to explain that the incident was probably the result of poor communication. The matriarch was arrested for DUI in October 2022, and Kim was also in legal hot water after being ordered to serve 50 hours of community service, pay $963 in court costs, attend DUI school, complete a substance abuse evaluation, and submit to drug and alcohol testing in March 2023. Using Mariah's Instagram to address how they are shown on the reality show, the siblings posted on social media in August 2022 that they would not be divided by drama. We as a family are not going to sit back and watch as our family is pulled apart. We ask that you have empathy for us and realize that not everything you see on the show is as it actually is in real life, the message went on. But following Olivia's divorce, Ethan Plath presents his sweetest new girlfriend in Plathville. Ethan Plath has found a new partner almost a year after divorcing his wife Olivia. On Wednesday, January 1st, the 26-year-old Welcome to Plathville star introduced his new girlfriend to his followers on Instagram with a carousel of pictures, but he did not disclose her identity or the circumstances of their meeting. Ethan added, "I'm excited for the upcoming year and what it holds. I wish everyone a very happy new year. Here we go 2025. One of the sweetest, kindest, and most patient persons I've ever met is my fiancé, whom he is proud to introduce." Couple is shown sitting outside an auto repair shop in the first picture, which is followed by a series of pictures that Ethan seems to have taken without her knowledge before gradually recognizing she was being photographed as he looked into her car. Additional pictures showed the two sitting close, cheek to cheek, smiling in front of a yellow convertible and a selfie taken in the restroom. Fans saw the drama unfold on Season 6 of the TLC show as Ethan and Olivia, both 26 years old, separated in 2023 after 5 years of marriage and formalized their divorce in 2024. Olivia has been open about her love life following their breakup, despite Ethan's initial reluctance to enter the dating scene again. In one episode of Season 6, she stated, "I've been dating outside of LA mostly all long distance. I found that that's a really great way to keep a separation of my single personal life in LA, figuring my out and still having some fun when I'm traveling, going on dates, talking to people, but I'm not seeing them every day." The most recent season of Welcome to Plathville also included an appearance by Brendan, her current lover. Before Wednesday's hard launch, Ethan mostly kept his personal life off social media, but in a later episode this past season, he put himself out there again by asking for a woman's number while dancing. Ethan acknowledged that he had trouble moving on from Olivia. In a 2023 Instagram post declaring his separation from Olivia, he reflected, "It just didn't work between us, though Lord knows we both gave it all we had. I wish Olivia the best in the future ahead. I care for her deeply and always will." He said, "It seemed like we were constantly pulling each other in opposite directions in life with different goals." But Micah Plath, the blonde, chiseled model and fan favorite from Welcome to Plathville, walked along the shoreline. His bare feet sinking into the wet sand, the ocean breeze tangled his hair, and he stared into the distance, his blue eyes reflecting both excitement and nervousness, as the camera panned over the immaculate sands of Clearwater Beach while the golden Florida sun stretched lazily across the sky. His previous relationship had ended months ago, and the split from Veronica had left him wondering what he really wanted out of life, not just love. He had been concentrating on modeling jobs, working out, and gaining independence away from his family's rigid past during that time, but now he was ready for something different, something genuine. Micah invited his siblings to a small beach picnic at the start of the episode, saying, "I've got someone special I want you guys to meet," with a playful smile. Mariah, her purple hair glistening in the sunlight, raised an eyebrow and nudged him, joking, "Someone special, huh? That usually means trouble." Micah chuckled uneasily and said, "I think you'll like her this time." A silver Jeep pulled up close to the boardwalk a few minutes later, and a tall brunette with a carefree smile, denim shorts, and sun-kissed skin stepped out. Her name was Ava Sinclair, a 26-year-old California wildlife photographer who had met Micah 3 months prior in Los Angeles while doing a photo shoot for an eco-fashion campaign. Ava, behind the camera, made a sarcastic remark that made Micah laugh mid-pose while he was modeling on the beach with a surfboard. He turned to face her and said, "You're not supposed to distract the talent." She responded, "Maybe the talent should stop taking himself so seriously." Micah and Ava clicked immediately. Sparks flew from that moment on. "Anyone who can handle Micah's ego deserves a medal," she teased, and Ava laughed. "Oh, don't worry, I've got plenty of practice." Micah stood in front of his siblings now, and he watched as Ava came over, waving warmly and introducing herself with a calm confidence that instantly impressed everyone. Mariah hugged her first. Olivia, who was visiting from Minnesota, said in a whisper, "She's got spirit," as they looked at each other with amusement. Lydia, who usually avoided loud conversations, smiled subtly at Ava's gentle sincerity as the group sat down to lunch, and she told stories about her photography adventures, including saving a baby dolphin in Costa Rica, camping alone in the Mojave Desert, and documenting wildlife conservation projects. But it wasn't all sunshine and roses. Later that night, in their private confessional interviews, Ethan acknowledged that he was worried, saying carefully, "Micah falls fast. I just hope this isn't another whirlwind romance." "Micah has been through a lot," she added quietly, "because he grew up under pressure, strict rules, no dating, no freedom. Sometimes he jumps headfirst into things because he finally can." Mariah and Ava had a heart-to-heart beside the bonfire. "I'm not here to rush him," Ava replied, nodding in understanding. "But he has a good heart, and I just want to be part of his journey, wherever it leads." When Ava revealed that she had plans to travel to South Africa for a photo project in the spring, Micah hesitated for a second before responding, "That's far." The episode then followed Micah and Ava on a casual date in downtown Tampa, where they rode scooters through the streets, stopped for ice cream, and discussed their dreams. "It is," said Ava with a smile, "but perhaps you could come visit. I could use a model who isn't scared of elephants." Micah laughed, but a glimmer of uncertainty was there in his eyes. His modeling career was just beginning to take off in Florida, and he wasn't sure he could manage long-distance love again because it hadn't worked out the last time he tried. The pair then sat on the beach as the sun set, their silhouettes captured by the camera against the flaming orange sky. Micah said, "I really like you, Ava, but I've been in the spotlight long enough to know how quickly things can change, so I just want to take it slow." "That's exactly what I want too," Ava said, reaching for his hand. As the background music grew, suggesting fresh starts, the producers cut to a montage of Ava and Micah laughing together, playing volleyball with friends, and posing for unscripted pictures. "For the longest time, I didn't even know what real connection meant," Micah stated in a final confessional, reflecting on his own development. "But Ava, she makes me feel grounded. She doesn't see me as the model guy from TV. She sees me, Micah, the person. And that's what I've been looking for." As tension builds, a trailer for the upcoming episode shows Ava wiping tears from her eyes during an argument, while another clip shows Mariah confronting Micah, asking sternly, "Are you sure she's not just in it for the cameras?" With the teaser, the screen goes black. Next week on Welcome to Plathville, Micah confronts the realities of fame, trust, and love. Fans are left wondering as the credits roll. Is Ava the one who eventually calms Micah's untamed heart, or is this just another phase of his quest for self-awareness? But Micah Plath had been staying for a few months in this small beachside town in Florida, where the sun had just set and the golden glow of the evening stretched across the town. He had come here for photo shoots, modeling gigs, and most importantly, some peace, but lately, peace had been the last thing he had found. Veronica had been seen having coffee with Cody downtown, and by the following morning, social media was ablaze with whispers. "Veronica's moved on? Micah's jealous? Was it really just coffee?" The rumors had been circulating for weeks, about Micah, Veronica, and a mysterious guy named Cody, one of Micah's gym buddies. Micah disliked gossip, but it affected him differently when those he cared about were involved, particularly Veronica. Micah had gone out with some friends to a local bar called the Sandbar on a Friday night. He didn't intend to stay long, but as fate would have it, Veronica entered. She was wearing a light blue sundress, her hair was in soft waves, and she looked effortlessly gorgeous. Cody was right behind her. Micah froze, clenching his jaw as the surrounding conversation seemed to dissolve into white noise. One of his friends clapped him on the back and said, "Hey man, how are you?" Cody smirked, but it wasn't a friendly smirk. He forced a nod, but his eyes were fixed on Veronica, who hadn't noticed him yet. When Veronica eventually saw Micah on the other side of the room a few minutes later, her smile vanished in an instant, and she could sense the tension before a word was spoken. Micah approached cautiously, attempting to maintain his composure. With a hushed, harsh voice, he said, "Didn't expect to see you here." Veronica was uneasy. "Please, Micah, don't do this." "What?" "Talk to my ex who said she needed space but is now hanging out with him," he shot back. "Hey, bro, calm down. We're just having a drink." "She's single, right?" Cody said as he moved forward. "Don't call me bro," Micah said, his hands clenched at his sides. Cody yelled, "Then stop acting like a jealous child." It was that. Drinks fell, people gasped, and Micah swung first. His punch was clean, precise, and full of the rage he had been suppressing for weeks. Cody staggered back, hitting the table behind him. Veronica yelled, "Micah, stop!" and attempted to get him away, but Cody sprang forward and grabbed Micah by the shirt. Two fell to the ground, fighting and wriggling as the throng exploded all around them. Micah's lip was bleeding. Cody had a bruise near his chin. Both men were breathing heavily, and they were glaring down at each other like savage animals when security rushed in and separated them. The night air was chilly against Micah's skin outside, and Veronica trailed behind him, her eyes brimming with hurt and rage. Her voice trembled as she asked, "What were you thinking?" "He was talking about you like you were some trophy." "I couldn't stand it," Micah said, turning away. She said, "You let me go, remember? You don't get to fight for me anymore." "I know I did. But that doesn't mean I stopped caring," Micah said, his chest constricted. There was a long silence, broken only by the distant crash of waves somewhere in the distance. "I didn't intend to harm you, Micah. Cody is only a friend." "But this," Veronica said, pointing to the bar where the altercation had started, "this isn't you. You're better than that." Micah stroked his brow and said, "Perhaps I'm not. Perhaps I've just stopped acting." She gave him a long, enigmatic glance before whispering, "Good night, Micah," and turning to leave. With each stride she made, his heart sank as he watched her leave. Micah awoke to thousands of alerts the following morning, with pictures of the altercation already on the internet and headlines screaming, "Micah Plath and Veronica got into a bar fight? A Plathville star was caught throwing punches. Welcome." His phone kept vibrating, and even his mother, Kim, had sent a text. "Call me, Micah. I must know what transpired." Not wanting to explain himself to the media, his family, or even himself, he switched off his phone. So he took a car ride. For the first time in days, he had a sense of calm as he sat at a peaceful overlooking the beach, watching the waves crashing against the rocks while the wind blew through his hair. But he knew deep down that the fight wasn't really about Cody, but rather about everything he'd been holding inside. The loneliness, the heartbreak, the pressure of fame, and the confusion of wanting to move on but not being ready. He thought about Veronica, how much he still cared, how much he hated himself for losing control. Micah shared a straightforward image on his Instagram that evening. "I made a mistake. I'm learning. One day at a time." There are moments when we allow anger to overpower love. One comment from Veronica struck out among the many that followed, some of which were critical and some of which were encouraging. "I'm proud that you said this." Micah gave a small smile, which was a beginning but not yet forgiveness. "Next time I'll do better," he said to himself as he sat back and gazed at the sky. Some point during that Florida night, Micah started to believe it as the waves rustled the shore. But the Plath family farm was alive with music, laughter, and the aroma of freshly cut flowers as the sun softly shone over the rolling fields of Cairo, Georgia. Today was not just any day, though. It was Lydia Plath's wedding day, one that the entire Plath family, the locals, and even the audience of Welcome to Plathville would never forget. Throughout the years, Lydia had developed into a young lady of grace, bravery, and quiet strength. Now, standing in front of a mirror in her ivory lace gown, she couldn't believe the day had finally arrived. Lydia had always been the quiet one, the kind soul who sang hymns late into the night, her voice like silk threading through the farmhouse walls. Plaths had experienced love, pain, division, and reunion, and today everyone was resolved that this wedding would be a new beginning. Zach Wise, her fiancé, stood outside beneath the old oak tree, fidgeting nervously with his tie. He was marrying Lydia, but he was marrying into one of the most talked-about families in America. Their mother, Kim, was trying to maintain her composure by fussing over flowers and reminding everyone to keep things godly and simple. Meanwhile, Barry was sitting outside on the porch, watching the setup with tears in his eyes, while Mariah was curling Lydia's hair and Micah was strumming his guitar by the window, getting ready for the song he had promised to play. For years, their family had been split up. The younger siblings had grown up between faith and freedom, Mariah had tried to find her place, and Ethan and Olivia had moved away. But today, for the first time in years, they were all together once more. Olivia was there too. She had flown in surreptitiously the previous evening, not knowing how people would react to her presence, but Lydia rushed to her and gave her a tight hug. "There's no way I could have missed your wedding," Olivia said. "You've always been my sister, no matter what happened," Lydia said with a smile and tears in her eyes. The guests started to settle in as the bright afternoon turned to nighttime, with the soothing hum of a country band playing in the background, mason jars lined with wildflowers and fairy lights twinkling in the trees. However, immediately following the ceremony was the real moment that everyone would remember. This song is for Lydia and Zach. It's called Home in Your Heart. Following the exchanging of vows and the lowering of the sun, Micah got up with his guitar, moved carefully to the microphone, took a deep breath, and spoke. Even the wind appeared to pause, and the crowd fell silent. He started to play. The song's lyrics, which were sung in a deep, warm, and emotionally charged voice, described growing up in a world that didn't always make sense, seeking forgiveness and freedom, and ultimately finding home, not in a physical location but in the heart of someone who loved you without conditions. As the opening song floated across the atmosphere, Lydia clutched Zach's hand. "During the storms and the quiet times, I continued to stroll through the night. Additionally, each prayer that reached the skies brought me to your light." Even Kim, who rarely displayed emotion in public, wiped away her tears by the time Micah reached the chorus. Mariah closed her eyes and hummed softly, and Ethan put an arm around Olivia's shoulder. It seemed as though healing, pure, beautiful, long overdue healing, was finally taking place. Micah smiled shyly and stepped back, allowing the pair to take center stage once more as the song came to a conclusion, but Lydia caught everyone off guard. "Micah, that song. I'll remember it forever. You didn't just sing for me and Zach, you sang for all of us," she whispered gently as she seized the microphone, her eyes sparkling. "Before I met you, I prayed for someone who would love not just me but the complicated, beautiful family I come from. You've done that without hesitation. You've seen me through doubt and faith, through tears and laughter, and now standing here I know that every moment led me right where I was meant to be," she said, turning to Zach. Once more, the guests exploded in applause. After that, the party came alive as dusk deepened, with music, plenty and lots of music, filled with pleasure, redemption, and revelry. Mariah sang a duet with one of her friends, Ethan danced with Olivia for the first time in months, and even Kim and Barry danced quietly under the stars. At one point, Lydia and Zach sneaked off to the barn to grab a few moments of silence, where the air smelled softly of vanilla and hay and the barn had been decorated with flowers and candles. "I believe Micah's song will live on forever," Zach said in a whisper as he drew Lydia closer. "It already is," Lydia said with a smile while putting her head on his chest. Micah took up his guitar once more and strummed quietly as the family gathered around the fire pit later that evening, singing hymns, ancient folk tunes, and even a few songs that Mariah had composed herself. This is what I always prayed for," Barry murmured quietly as he gripped Kim's hand and she glanced around at her children, fully grown, self-sufficient, yet still bound together by something invisible and powerful. Cameras rolled silently, catching every smile, every tear, every note of that night that will never be forgotten, and toward the end of the night, the Plath family sat together in quiet serenity as the stars stretched eternally across the Georgia sky. It was more than simply a wedding. It was a celebration of forgiveness, a reunification of hearts, and the beginning of a new chapter for all. Additionally, Micah's song Home in Your Heart would become famous, not only among fans but also inside the family itself. Years later, the same thing would be said anytime Lydia and Zach's wedding was brought up. The wedding with the unforgettable song was the one. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Mina and I hope you're having a great day. Please remember to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy the video.